Hey folks, just thought I'd do a quick update. I've got the back box installed and you'll see a video on that pretty soon here, but I've got to edit that. This is on my phone real quick, and thought I'd show you what I'm doing here. I've got a window with the rain, and so as I am putting in my 6-point harnesses, I've decided to pull the back side of this unit out, the back plastics a little bit, and what I'm doing is I'm putting this product right here. Turn it around. Cool it. It's a thermo and a sound deadener. So what I'm doing is I'm going behind here and I'm finding some space, some good flat space, and I am putting this sound deadener on the back side of this. One of the things I noticed pretty quick here was this unit is pretty dang noisy in the cockpit. You know, probably maybe even noisier than my X3. I still haven't done the intake reverse kit yet, but as you can see, I'm going to put this stuff in and I'm going to see just how much of a difference it makes. This is some decent quality stuff that's heavy duty, and is self-stick. When you put it on, it should quiet it down a bit and should stay, since this unit's new, brand new. I haven't even ridden it yet per se, and put alcohol on it and wiped it down. What I also did, in order to cut these evenly and quickly, I used, as usual, I used my oscillating saw with a short, a narrow blade on it, and cut these out, and it works really good. Just take your time and don't overcut. But if you use a bigger blade on there, you're going to overcut the unit. So the smaller blade is the way to go, not the super small one, but the medium small. So I'll let you know how this turns out. It's not too big of a deal. Also, you're going to see in my next video, I'm replacing the shift gate. There's a new one out there. It's green, and it's shifting like some of those out there from some of the aftermarket places, giving you the left-hand side and the right-hand side for high reverse and then low reverse over on the left-hand side. So, and I got it in green, so we're putting that in as well. As I've got all this out, I'll be putting that in too. That's 4 screws. This unit here literally has 4 screws holding it in. You just got to take all the plastics away from it. It just sounds big, but it's not. And a couple of screws there, and the mounting screws in the back, and you can replace that thing once you've done that. Little screw here on the side there, and that'll be replaced probably once I get these plastics off in about 5 minutes flat. Anyway, all right. Just a quick shot of this side here with it on. I can't go too far down. Turned out pretty good. It went on and like cut it like a breeze. Went on in like a minute per piece. It was great. It sticks like chuck. I had to try to remove this one and reposition it right here, and that buddy was stuck. I mean stuck. Almost had to replace it. Anyway, got one side done, putting it together and doing 3 things at once here, killing 3 birds at once, getting these 6-point harnesses in, the center console, shift gate, and some insulation and heat shield. I've got all the back panels back in. It was not difficult. I didn't take them all the way out because there were some wires running through them and cables, but I was able to get them out enough to be able to put that sound and heat barrier in there. So I've got the mounts in, getting ready to finish up my seat belts. Got the new shifter gate in. Looks, I think, really cool. Matches everything. I'm getting ready to run my cable for my antenna that's already been up underneath there ready to run. I knew I wanted to wait until I took this thing apart for everything else and then run that up there. I've got to be real careful on the right hand side over here. That's a lot of heat from the exhaust, so I'm probably going to have to figure out how to reroute this and keep it away from the exhaust, because I've got enough antenna wire to do that. I'll probably come up maybe over off this side and come over and or switch the antenna. Probably best bet will be to switch it to this side, and that way I avoid that heat on that side. So I've got both my panel for my fuse covered. I have my panel for my air cleaner covered, so that's going to go right back in place. And hopefully that's going to be a lot. Let me get this in. Hopefully that's going to be a lot quieter, or at least somewhat quieter, and definitely just having some heat shield in there is going to help a lot. You can see some of what I've done there. Some of the surfaces, the motor is farther in, so you can see some of the surfaces coated there as best I could. You got to keep them away from the cage bars because then they won't fit flush. But that is in, and I hope to have the seat belts in today and everything else run, and call it quits for a bit on this machine. I've got a couple more parts coming in, but nothing really big, so I'll keep you all updated. Guys, another couple of quick tips on working on your KRXs. You know, we talk about the screws being kind of inferior to the hardware. I played around with a few different bits, and what's going to happen to these is that a normal bit is meant to go down, but these bolts actually use, if you can see this or not, I'm going to lean it up against there. They use a square head, a thick square head, so play around with that, and that thick square head is going to fit perfectly, so you can go back to using your nut drivers on these things really well. Second tip, when I was putting in my pull downs on cooler pull downs on my box, and this happens with a lot of them, that, you know, the front screw in types, if all you're doing is screwing into that plastic, it's not going to hold. The first time you have a big jostle or jump bump, it's just going to come out. Same way with these tiny little screws that they give you to hold them in place. What I found was that these cavities are deeper. They're almost all the way to the top. So I had a couple of, well, I have a bunch of these M5s that I used to sell on eBay, but never could make any money at 2 at a time or 10 at a time. And the perfect one would be an M520. This is an M525. I had to put a couple of washers on the back side of it, but an M520 would put you right up near the top and give you a real solid on the top and a real solid single screw on the bottom. So just a quick tip, if you don't want to be losing your stuff out on the trail on any of these pull downs, you've got to use longer screws and reinforce them. If you're going to use the ones that go through the front, you're going to have to drill out the cavity. You're going to see that in my video where I just took like a, I don't know, inch and a half or 2 inch hole saw and drilled out the cavity so that you could bolt on the inside here at the top and get yourself some security on there. So if you had bolts and nuts from the front, that would be the most secure. You're going to have to modify these boxes from Tractor Supply, but it's worth it because all you're doing is modifying the inside a little bit, and it's not going to affect the outside. Anyway, a couple of quick tips on the little things. Well, guys, just got done Sunday evening. Got everything on that I need to get on so far. Let's take a look. Got my 6-point harnesses in, looking good. Love these things. They will keep you real snug in a crash. Most guys will complain about these things, but a lot of friends of mine and I've run these in our X3s and other machines, and they're great. The shift gate turned out really nice. It's a perfect match. As you can see, that was a real easy install. I get all the insulation on behind the unit itself. Let's take a walk around here. Got my front bump stop on. Mounted my antenna. That's looking good over here, out of the way, up high. Got the hitch mounted. That turned out really nice. As you can see, that's a good probably 20 inches up or more off the ground. So when you put something out on that thing, you know, a tiger tail out on it, you're going to be less likely coming off a rock or a hill, scraping that thing or hitting it. You know, those low hitches on some of these machines that are way low, man, they scrape the ground, they give you all kinds of problems. So here's the box completed. I'll have my video on it, how I did it, as soon as I can get it edited. It's in 3 or 4 parts. Solid as a rock. It's not going to move. These pulls, I put them pretty snugly on here. I think they're going to work out just fine. I put black silicone in the holes there. I haven't cleaned it up. I've had to let it dry first, but I need to wipe it down from some wipe and stuff. And so that's what you got to do up in there. If you can see, got to take a hole saw and cut up into the top of that thing in order to mount these things right. Whether you're putting the screws in from the back side or the front side, you got to be able to get to the other side. If you're just screwing in to the front with a wood type screw, first time you jostle this around, this thing's going to come off on you. It's just going to pop right off. You know, it's just plastic, and the sheer weight of whatever's inside is going to knock this thing up, and pow! It's going to knock that off or that off. So I've got another video attached to this that I'll just run together, showing you how you can actually still use these and put a longer screw in there that actually goes deeper. Anyway, other than that, everything's done. She's ready to ride. Maybe we'll get lucky and next weekend we'll actually get to go ride. I mean, this thing is still in virgin territory here. Even though it's my wife's, I'm starting to really like this machine. I don't know if once I sell my Commander, I may get another one of these once I get to riding this thing and see. Never know. I'm going to keep my X3 though. I really enjoy my X3. Listen, y'all take care. Have a good week.